Joining us, royal commentator Afua Hagan and Tessa Dunlop, who's a royal commentator and historian. Thank you both for joining me. I mean, all sorts of people who I think should know far, far better are wading in to kind of goad and you might say kind of scoff at and pour scorn on the Princess of Wales and try to sort of climb on board the back of what I think is a very bad joke about where is she and what's happening to her, this kind of constant conspiracy theory thing. Afua, including Kim Kardashian of all people.
I think what we need to understand is the zeitgeist of where we are right now, and that people have kind of reached a bit of fever pitch, a little bit of hysteria about where is the Princess of Wales. Now, let's remember that anybody and everybody, you and I and Tessa and everybody else, has a right to recover from surgery or anything or a big night out in the privacy of our own homes without being photographed. However, people are used to being drip-fed so much information about the Prince and Princess of Wales that because there has been a vacuum created, people are filling it. And they're filling it with theories from the sublime to the ridiculous. And no, I actually don't think it's very fair. It's not very fair on her. It's not fair on the children. And yes, we kind of have reached this kind of sort of fever pitch hysteria where what started off as dark corners of the internet and made its way into our national newspapers, people are really talking about where is the Princess of Wales? And now we have kind of, I think, entered the phase of people are saying, well, you know, we should be kind and we should give her that space. Look, we should have given her that space in the first place. Absolutely. But I think with hindsight, when we look back at how Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, was treated during her time in the royal family, I would have liked that we would have been able to say the same thing. Be kind and give her the space and the privacy that she required as well, but that wasn't afforded. It should have been afforded to her and it should be afforded to the Princess of Wales as well.
Although it's not really a similar situation, I mean, because we only found out really much later that Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, was suffering. We didn't really know at the time. We knew that she was married, and we knew that we'd all thoroughly enjoyed her wedding, then we knew that she was having a baby, and then we knew that she was giving birth to Archie, and then it came as a shock to many, many people when they effectively did that flight to freedom, as they called it, and left the country. And then she gave Oprah the interview saying how bad she'd been feeling and how terrible her thoughts were and how, you know, she really considered all kinds of options because she was feeling so terribly bad and nobody helped her psychiatrically and nobody helped her in any other way. But we didn't know that at the time. It's not like we knew that and we nevertheless went for her in an unkind way, especially members of the public. I mean, certainly there were some articles written about her in the press, but people will say not very many. Most were very, you know, enthusiastic about her, really. And we didn't really know what she was going through. Whereas with Kate, the Princess of Wales, we know that she's had a major abdominal operation. We don't know what it is and we don't know what's really been going on with her health. But we knew that she wasn't going to appear in public till Easter. We were warned of it. We were told why. That should have been enough, Afua, shouldn't it?
But isn't that why we always say you don't know what people are going through? Therefore, you should always treat them with kindness. Because you're right, we didn't know, but we still should have afforded Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, kindness. We still should afford the Princess of Wales kindness. Absolutely. Doesn't matter whether we know what they're going through or not. Privacy and kindness should be standard across the board.
Let's bring Tessa into this conversation. Yeah, go on, Tessa. Go on.
Yeah, well, I'm a little sceptical about what the word kindness means. The problem with the royal family is they're an institution of state funded by the sovereign grant. And I think that was one of the things that Meghan found very hard to get her head around, understandably so. In Hollywood, most of the big glossies, the magazines, you get sign off on the photographs, you often get sign off on the copy. You're not interrogated in the same way because you're not working for the state. You're just a celebrity working on your profile, which is why they've opted for that lifestyle over in California now. And likewise, that idea of privacy, yes, I concur that Kate deserves her privacy because she's had a major operation, but they are public figures. That is part of their role as an institution of state. And I think one of the reasons why this has unraveled or got so out of hand is because it's coincided with the absence of the king, which is also a big deal. He's very old, but he's new to the throne. And secondly, it's highlighted, I think weirdly, people hadn't really clocked. And that is that the royal family's been severely hollowed out over the last few years. We've lost the mainstays, Philip and Elizabeth, to death and old age. Harry and Meghan for obvious reasons. Andrew, as we all know all too well. And I think it was only when Kate disappeared, because she's so sort of significant and glamorous and such a reliable mainstay. She's always very physically accomplished, whether it's knocking out those babies and putting her denier tights straight back on, or playing tennis with Emma Raducanu. And so I don't think we'd ever conceive that she might need time. There might be a physical problem there. It's taken people by shock. And I think one of the responses to that, which did begin under the line, as I call it, trolling away and stuff, was a kind of realization that the royal family looks very different today.
Yeah, definitely true. And certainly the picture taken at the coronation of the working royals, where the average age was, you know, I don't know, 850 or something. It really was a bit of a wake-up call. But Afua, this question of where is Kate, isn't it perfectly clear where Kate is? Kate is at home in Adelaide Cottage. How do we know? We know because we've been told it. We know because she was seen in the back of the car or the front of the car when her mother was doing the school run and picking up the children, and there was Kate clearly in the car alongside her mother. We know because there was a picture of her, we could see her silhouette in the car with Prince William. We know that. We know about the photograph of her that was taken and was shown in America on foreign media, but we didn't see it over here, but people did if they looked online. So we know perfectly well where she is. She's exactly where she says she is, and they say she is, at Adelaide Cottage. And why isn't she being seen every 5 minutes? Because she's recovering from an operation, and they were open and honest about that. So there is no mystery. There is no, you know, kind of perplexing riddle that needs to be solved about where she is. And Kim Kardashian should hang her head in shame for saying she's gone off to look for Kate or whatever she said. She shouldn't be saying that. Neither should there be any jokes about it at the White House or anywhere else, should there?
I think the problem is that, like I said, because we are so used to seeing them out and about all the time, and actually Tessa's absolutely right that, you know, we didn't really notice how slimmed down the monarchy was until we had this vacuum where the Princess of Wales wasn't there. And she is so well loved by so many people. So she's conspicuous by her absence, and also she's made more conspicuous by her absence because the king is unwell as well. So like I said, this vacuum has been created because we are so used to seeing them. And I think that's where lots of the rumors have come from, the conspiracy theories, like I said, from the sublime to the ridiculous. But I think there's also there's an element of people not trusting what they're being told, and whether that is by, you know, so-called mainstream media. You know, a lot of people consume their news online and from social media because they have this element of not trusting what they've been told. And I think because also we had this photoshopped picture, which I know we keep referring to, which came out, and that was from Kensington Palace, then that wasn't trusted by 5 major news agencies. People are now thinking to themselves, gosh, well, what can we trust? What can we trust from Kensington Palace? Therefore, are other things they're telling us untrue? I think that element of trust is very, very important. And perhaps that has been lost in this instance, which therefore fuels the conspiracy theories and the rumours online and everywhere else.
Tessa, we're being told that the king...
I do think...
Tessa, we're being told that the king is determined to attend Trooping the Colour this time, and he may have to attend in a carriage and stay in the carriage and definitely not attempt to attend on horseback as his mother did.
Well, his mother did up until 1986, and then was in a carriage ever since, and missed the ceremony in 2022 when she didn't take the salute, just appeared on the balcony. So I think we can probably wave the king a bit of a bye. I did actually go to Trooping the Colour last year, and I was reminded that Anne has always looked infinitely better on horseback, so perhaps he should just let his younger sister lead the way. I do think there is an issue around trust. It's something that's very hard won, and when you drop it, it's a bit like breaking a vase. It's very difficult to stick back together. I noticed even royal stalwart Hugo Vickers this morning posting on his Instagram the last Christmas card that Elizabeth and Philip ever released, then very old, with Windsor Castle as the backdrop, and Hugo going, I always thought they looked like they were stuck onto this photograph. And there is now this sort of question, what can we trust? You know, if Charles appears at Trooping the Colour, is he in fact CGI? Is this AI in its infancy? So, and that obviously a jest, but more broadly, if you can't trust Kensington Palace, if you can't trust the official mouthpiece of our royal family, who are meant to be above the grubby little world of politics, then it does beg the question, what British brand can you trust?
Well, I wonder whether you feel, Afua, you can trust the Duchess of Sussex new brand, which we know is called, what's it called, America Riviera Orchard. And I've never seen anything softer focused or more filtered in my life than that footage advertising the new site. I mean, it really is, you know, doctored beyond belief, and yet that's meant to be fine, right?
Well, I think that's a little bit different because it wasn't sent out to major news agencies, and it wasn't implied that it wasn't, you know, manipulated in any way. You can clearly see that there's a huge amount of soft focus used on this. And I think that's, you know, this is the advertising video for the brand. We haven't seen any of the crockery, the plates, the bird baths, the tea towels, the oven gloves, whatever. We don't know if they fall apart, if we're going to burn our hands when we take our pasta bake out of the oven, if the bird bath is going to fall apart, if the forks and spoons are going to bend. You know, we haven't used them yet, so we just don't know if we can trust it.
I bet Tessa's absolutely aching to use that bird bath, aren't you? Just can't wait, right?
You can't wait. My big dilemma is, will I wake up to Duchy of Cornwall marmalade or the Duchess of Sussex's marmalade? It's a real dilemma.
I know it's a dilemma. What are you going to do, though? Tell us what. Don't leave us hanging. What are you going to do?
You don't know. I mean, I thought I could compromise and have Duchy of Cornwall oatcakes and then perhaps one of her, what are they called, butter pastes or nut butters on the top.
Wow. Gosh, it sounds absolutely... What's wrong with a bowl of Frosties? That's what I want to know. Listen, thank you both very much indeed. Not regal enough for a royal segment, I suppose. Thank you both very much. Lovely to see you both.